welcome to another Battle Games in Middle-earth tutorial video this time, not another battle report. Thank you very much for your comments and likes and subscriptions as well, based on the last battle report. I've hit 500, so thanks very much for your support of this channel. It really means a lot to me. I love playing it, I love painting, I love editing videos, so it's been an absolute pleasure. But now down to this one. As you've seen in the past couple of weeks, months, I've been doing a few tutorial style videos, giving a sort of introduction to a few of the basic elements of the Middle-earth strategy battle game. And the first one I did was moving and shooting and fighting, just general, very simple stuff. Second one, which was a Balin's Tomb style thing, which involved Aragorn, Sam and Frodo having a bit of a go at some a troll and some goblins. Just to show you a bit about how Aragorn's might is pretty much essential for the game as well. This one is going to be focusing on more of those trolls, basically, because I did show a bit of what trolls can do in the last battle report, but they were chopped down by the mighty Aragorn. So this time we're going to have 3 trolls and Burda the troll chieftain from Angmar facing off against Theoden and some riders of Rohan in a capture the kind of centre kind of battle style thing. And hopefully I'll be able to show you what happens when you get trolls stuck in, especially against cavalry models. Cavalry can be awesome, but so can the mighty trolls. So without much further ado, let's head down to the table and have a quick bash at some trolls versus riders of Rohan. Let's head to the table. Right, there we go. There are the Riders of Rohan and a smattering of Rohan Royal Guard in there as well. Rohan and, of course, King Theoden at the front, painted as well, which if you want to have a look at that, how to paint that, or how I painted it, I should say, then check out one of my other videos. But let's focus on the task at hand. It's vanquishing trolls from this hobbit in the middle here. So we've got Burda, the troll chieftain, with 3 cave trolls, 3 very nasty, large-looking cave trolls. The aim of the game here is simply to protect this hobbit, or stand around this hobbit, I suppose, when the end of the game, which will be at 25%. So as soon as one of these forces, so if there's 1 troll left, that's 25%, or if I think it was 16, so there's 4 riders left over here, then that will be 25% as well, and that's the end of the game. Whoever has control of the hobbit at that point will be the winner of this small scenario, but really mostly just to show you a little bit about how trolls work in particular, and monsters, and we've got some very exciting things called brutal power attacks that I can give you a bit of a taste of. Let's see if they actually work, because well, you never know. Trolls against horses. We've got an interesting combo there, so we'll see actually who's going to win here. But let's start this sort of battle report tutorial game with a simple roll of the dice. Green are good, red are evil. Whoever gets priority can move first, and then we'll get into the game. So let's start, without much further ado, Angmar versus King Theoden and his riders. About 450 points each. Well, in fact, exactly 450 points for them and just slightly under for them. And we'll get started. Here we go. So it starts with a rider of Rohan green. So we'll move all these forward, and then we'll do some shooting, because these guys, they're trolls. They don't look like they have bows and arrows, but my God, can they pick up and lob a stone quite easily. So I'll come back after the movement phase. Anyway, I'll stop doing that. This here, we've got Theoden and the Riders of Rohan launching their way forward. Just to give you a bit of context here on the battlefield, there's about, let's exactly measure it. We've got, it's exactly a cavalry charge between them. 10 inches-ish between the front rank of the trolls and the front rank of the Riders of Rohan, so 3 of them will be able to get into charge range next turn if they so wish. Now let's go to the shooting phase. So the trolls are staying exactly still for reasons that will become clear in a second. We've got some throwing spears here. They are 8-inch range, so they're just out of range to be able to throw a throwing spear. There are some bows, but of course the bows have all moved 10 inches from the edge of the battlefield, so nobody can actually hit anyone with a throwing spear. So it's over to the evil guys throwing, and Theoden will rue the day when he led the cavalry charge, I think. So we're going to try and throw some stones. So these are pretty lethal if they hit. So we've got a big red dice for Berder, who hits on 4s, and 3 little dice that hit on 5s. Because they're in base contact, they can shoot over each other's shoulders or lob stones over each other's shoulders without in the ways. And they're going to go for Theoden. He's the root of this army, and if I get rid of him, the riders are going to be in serious trouble. But that'll serve him right for leading the cavalry charge. So let's see if any of these stones actually hit. Here we go. Oh, look at that. We got 1 stone that's hit. I could use a point of might to improve that dice roll, but I think it's probably best... is it? No, it's best save it later, because I want to be able to move against these riders' Rohan. But one of these stones hits. Is it going to hit the horse? Snowmane, or is it going to hit Theoden? Let's find out. Snowmane or Theoden? 1, 2, 3, it hits the horse. It hits Theoden himself. Ooh, this could be disastrous for the King of Rohan. Now, it's strength 8, so and it's against the mighty strength of Theoden the Rider himself. Let me just double check the defense of him. I think he's defense 6. So yeah, strength 8 against 6 is 3s, obviously. So I think we're going to stick with that. Let's go with 3s. Here we go. Strength 3 hit on Theoden himself. Strength 8 hit on Theoden himself and a 3 to wound. Oh, that is exactly not what the trolls wanted. And number 2, so fails. Theoden is lucky this day. He's narrowly dodged being smashed in the face by that rock. That could have made all the difference if the trolls had won that one. So we're going to go to priority then. Red for good. Red for evil, green for good. Oh, it's a double 6. So we've got an evil priority this turn, which actually lends itself very well to Theoden, Theoden's nefarious means, I think, slightly. If I move forward here as the troll player by about 6 inches, I'd get to here, then I'd be able to be swamped by the trolls. So actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to stay exactly still, and I'm just going to say, come at me, bro. Come at me, bro, and see what the Riders of Rohan do. And I'm going to be honest, using my tactical nous, I know it's probably unwise of me to actually charge it in here. So I might do some shooting first, or I can't decide quite yet whether I should just do exactly what I really want to do, which is just send the lads in and see what happens. I'll come back after the movement phase, and you'll see whether I was wise or unwise in my decision. Okay, here's the dealio. I've decided to be unwise to an extent. I'm going to risk it because the Riders of Rohan have lost priority. They've gone second. These trolls are going to be standing around whatever happens. So I'm going to give it a go. I'm going to get this guy and Theoden hopefully into combat with this troll here, leaving Berder on his own. I don't want to get him stuck into things. So what I'm going to do, he's going to fly in, throwing a spear in his way. So he throws a spear. And he hits, because we don't get a -1 penalty with moving and throwing a spear into combat anymore. So strength 3 against defense 6. I'm looking for a 6, but no wound. So that's fine. But then he gets stuck in. Just a reminder, usually you take a courage check if you're charging a troll, because they are pretty scary looking things. But no such luck this time. Because these guys are bodyguards, which means as long as Theoden's alive, they pass their courage checks. So, talking about passing courage checks, although Theoden is a mighty hero, he has to see if he can charge the troll. Ooh, 5. I think that's just enough. So here we go. Here in Theoden King charging a troll. No, that's the wrong tune, isn't it? Oh well, doesn't matter. Here we go. So lovely troll facing off against Rohan Royal Guard and Theoden himself. So the rest of them I'll come back in a minute. I'm probably going to move them just half so they can all have a pop at the things with their bows. Okay. You join me now at the turn of the tide. No, probably not. Anyway, these guys have all moved half the distance up. They've only gone 5 inches each, and I've cleverly made sure that these guys here at the front on the left, the Rohan Royal Guard, are just over 6 inches away. So even if they lose priority next turn, they're not going to be charged by a nasty troll, but they will be able to be in charge range themselves. That's the trick with cavalry often. And standing back and shooting may not seem the heroic thing to do, but that's exactly what this crowd of Rohan are going to do now. But first, they have to face the onslaught of Berder and the trolls. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to probably be a little too risky here, but I'm going to go with, I'm going to fire all of my stones from Berder and the gang, Berder in the slightly see-through one, into this combat here, on the off chance that I do get Theoden and knock him off his horse and kill him. The problem is they're strength 8 against defense 6, so there's a good chance they'll kill my troll, but I'm going to risk it. I don't think all of them are hit anyway, so we'll see what happens. Let's give it a go. They're evil, they get to shoot into combat. So, here we go. 1 hit from Berder, that's fine. So we can might this. This is okay. So 1 stone, does it hit evil on a 1, 2, 3, or good on a 4, 5, 6? Let's see what happens. Oh, that's so good. I'm so glad. So it does hit evil, good, and he's the closest guy, so it's got to be Theoden. So will it take out his horse or him himself? 1, 2, 3 goes to the horse. Oh, this is very good news for Theoden. For the Berder. We've got a very strong chance of killing the armoured horse here. A strength 8 shot against the defence 5 horse means it's a strength 3, and I get to kill that horse. It's a 3+, and I get the 3. I get a 4. Excellent news. So this is exciting. Not for me. Not for Theoden, of course, who gets potentially unhorsed in this turn. Now he does have some special rules, which are called the Horse Lord rule, and essentially what that means is that he is able to use his fate points to rescue his horse when he's shot off. So let me just double check. He has got the Horse Lord rule. I'm sure he does. Yes, Expert Rider and Horse Lord. And he has 1 fate. 1. So I can use that fate later, or I can use it now and hope that I gain the advantage of the charge. This is a tough one, but I feel like it might be worth doing. He has a special rule. It feels like he wants to be moving around and avoiding getting charged by trolls, and he's only going to do that if he's got his horse. So, come on, Snowmane, 4+, and you're still in the game. Oh, this is not good. Do I burn more points of... do I burn more resources? 3 points of might. He has 3 points of might, and one of them could save his horse. It could be a bit of a risk. He's got a fight value of 5. He's always going to be outnumbered by the horses, out fight valued by the trolls, sorry. Do I do it? Do I spend the point of might and risk it, or do I let him go? I think I'm going to spend the point of might and keep him on his horse. Probably it could be a bad move, it could be a terrible move, it could be alright, but we'll go with it. He's staying on his horse, but just shows the might of the trolls, that they are able to throw stones, strength 8, into combat and smash apart a horse potentially, or at least make Theoden spend 2 points of resources of his fate and his might. So there we go, that's the first thing. They're all shot. So now it's over to the good guys, who are going to fire as much as they can in retaliation. Berder has left himself very weakened at the front here, potentially. So let's swing along down over here, over the line. So the bows have all moved half. We've got some spears first, though. So the spears are strength 3, so they're slightly better. So they're going to have a pop at Berder first. So neither hit, so that's easy enough. Then we've got a few bows. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 bows that can easily shoot him. And we've got a 5th one there, just hiding behind the hand there. And I think this one as well, that's 6. So 6 bows, all firing straight at Berder, the troll chieftain, who's somehow in Rohan. So we've got incredibly cocked dice there. Let's just try that one again. There we go. It misses anyway. But here we go, we've got 3 6s. This is a good sign. So against the troll, strength 2, so we're needing high rolls, not high enough. So there we go, the disastrous bowfire of the Rohirrim not saving the excellent shooting from trolls, which I suppose is not something you were probably expecting at the start of this game. So now it's on to fights. Extremely worrying stuff for Theoden. He's under the fight value of even the standard troll, so he's going to heroic strike in order to increase his fight value. That means he's only at 1 point of might left. I feel like I'm regretting losing his horse already, but we'll see what happens. So he's got a number of attacks. He's got 3 attacks on the charge because he's cavalry, and he's also got his friend here. He's got 2 attacks. So that's 2 attacks, 3 attacks from Theoden, 2 attacks from his Royal Guard friend, and 3 from the cave troll itself. So cave trolls are pretty good. 3 attacks. Okay, here we go. So let's see who wins this duel roll. I see a 6 in red. I don't see a 6 in green. This could be a disaster for the Rohirrim's leader. Why, Theoden? Why did you do this on your own? Right, so here we go. I have thought you've got the fight value. Oh, hold on. I've rubbed it away. He didn't have the fight value, so I'm not going to spend another point of might. Here we go. So a 6 from the troll. He had the fight value and everything, but he loses it. A crucial dice roll there on a 5+. And especially because they charged it, they had an extra strength bonus. It was all going to be so good until the troll comes along. And there's 2 choices here. I can rend King Theoden and really, really do some problems, or I can properly unhorse him and chuck him this way. I don't think it's worth chucking him that way because I'm not even going to hit anyone. So here we go. Rend on King Theoden. So a rend is basically using the strength of the troll against the strength of the person you're attacking instead of the defense. So there we go. We've got strength 6 against strength 4, which means it's just 3s, which is fine. Not that. But that's still good. We've got 2 wounds on King Theoden. And guess how many wounds he has? This is how many wounds he has. Oh my gosh, this is a disaster for the Rohirrim. Already they've lost their leader in a valiant charge. Perhaps a pointless charge, perhaps a very foolish charge, but it was valiant nonetheless, so they've lost a lot of their bonuses in just that one single round of combat. Maybe I burnt through his might too quickly, I almost certainly did, but that's not how to show you how monsters work, is it? I wasn't going to play it too tactically, I want to show you how monsters do. So there you go, the awesome might of a troll, which, if just clarifying that dice roll, I got a 2, a 3 and a 6, didn't I? So just to remind you, the rend there, if I hadn't rendered, I'd have been strength 6 against defense 6 because he's got the shield and everything. Defense 7. So it would have been 4s. So we'd have only got 1 wound, and Theoden would still be alive. But because he's a cave troll and he's awesome, he doesn't need to worry about that. He's back in the game properly. Here we go. Let's get to turn number. There's only 3. Okay, here we go. Turn number 3, and let's see what happens. So the evil guys take it. Oh, it's looking bad for the good guys. They have no might in order to recharge or do anything different there. So let's just look at the battle lines as they are at the moment. We've got 1 troll here that's eyeing up a tasty morsel of a Rohan Royal Guard, and we've got some other trolls there that are looking particularly interested in munching on these guys. They have to go first, which does give the riders of Rohan a slight edge, but on the other hand, this guy's in trouble. Right, let's come back after the moves from both sides and we'll see how it's looking then. So we rejoin this battle, this eye in the sky report of the Rohan versus the Trolls. Just as the start of the movement phase, I realise I'm going to have to show you some of the movement phase because, of course, we're going to need a lot of rolls of dice for these Rohan now. There are no courageous folk involved in the battle. So this troll has charged this guy reasonably, and then we've got a line here. I think it's pretty fair to assume that they're going to just hover around and wait and to push the battle to these guys. So they've moved forward because I don't want to be just standing around being peppered by spears and bows for the rest of the game. So they're pushing the game to them. If I was playing this potentially more tactically as the Rohan, these guys just move back a bit. Because they can fire arrows till the cows come home, really. But that's no fun. So let's go with Rohan Royal Guard and some Rohan generally. And they're going to try and get this guy in the end. So let's start with this Rohan Royal Guard here to get the troll here. That's a great start, Mr. Rohan Royal Guard. You've failed your courage check. How about this guy with an axe? He's going to have a go as well. This guy with an axe. Oh, he's only courage 3, I think. So let me just double check these riders of Rohan. They're not as amazing as you might expect. Riders of Rohan, courage 3, yeah, so that's a fail. So they need a 7 minimum. The Royal Guard, I think, are courage 4, though, I think. No, they're courage 3 as well. Okay, so just looking for 7s on everyone. So that one fails, that one fails. This is not good. The front line of Rohan Royal Guard, Rohan Riders are failing miserably. This guy is going to have a pop. No, this guy with the spear is going to have a go first, because he can... I forgot about that earlier. Here we go, he's in. Oh, that's not cocked. Don't say anything. Okay, so he's coming around there, and he's able to come around the trap. He will go for throwing the spear on the way in, though. Oh, he hits. Look at that. Strength 3 against the defense 6. So we're looking for not 2. Here we go. So I think we're looking for 5s, probably. Then we go. So he's in though. That's okay. We've got one troll with 1 rider. We're going to need a couple more in there though first. So let's get the next rider of Rohan in there. He's Rohan Royal Guard. Looking at 6s and 5s. The Rohan Royal Guard are bringing up the rallying point of the guys there. So we've got 2 more in there. Then I think I'm going to try and get that one with an axe. That one with the axe over there. We need an axe in there. Here we go. That's good. Look at that. We've got a 9. So there we go. Now what I'm going to do as the Rohan player, I could easily slot a rider into here and try and take them both, but I'm really worried that all that's going to happen there is that this guy gets involved in combat and smashes a rider Rohan unnecessarily. So the rest of them are going to stand still or re-chimmy the lines a bit and shoot some arrows. Actually, no, he doesn't need to go there. He can stay there. They're going to shoot some arrows and hopefully pepper this troll with stuff. So, okay, everyone on the troll side's moved, so it's down to some good shooting. Let's hope it's good for the Rohan, otherwise it's not going to go very well at all. So we've got bows here, 1, 2, 3. He can shoot over this guy's shoulder, because remember we can only shoot if we're back to back. So he can shoot through that base. That's fine. He's got a spear. If he's in range, he'll be able to shoot them as well. I think he probably is in range. Let's just get the measuring thing. So yeah, he's in range as well. So let's look at that. So a bit more context. Apologies if I'm a bit sort of slapdash and moving my camera around. It's not easy to roll dice, use measuring tapes, and wield a camera. So anyway, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 dice here for the riders. We'll do the spears second, and then we've got this guy as well. He's 5. These guys are going to be shooting through too many of their own guys. He can shoot over this guy's shoulder. So that's 5 bows, all at this troll here in the middle. Here we go, that's looking good. So we got some solid Rider of Rohan shots, and it's strength 2 against defense 6, so we're needing 6s. Nothing there, alas. So then we've got the spears. We've got 1 spear here. Oh, actually, he's not actually in shoulder contact with anyone, so he can't throw. That's a shame. I'd probably did that badly, but oh well. Okay, so we haven't got any spears at all, so that's a bit of a boo-boo there. But hey, this is fine. We've got 3 Riders of Rohan against there, so that's 6 attacks against the Trolls 3. They do have the fight value though. This guy certainly in trouble. And as far as I recall, it was the evil guy's priority, and evil will always try and go first. So we're going to do this combat here. I'm trying to think of what I could do here that could help this guy get into that. There is a thing called a barge. We'll go into that later though. So let's do the fight. So the troll charged the Rohan Royal Guard. So it's 3 against 1 dice. The troll wins it easily. Shall I hurl him? No, I'm just going to rend him again. So again, using the troll strength against the strength of the rider there. So let's move him back a little bit. So he's sort of facing off a little. Can we do it? Can we see who wins here? Who's going to win? Who are you thinking? I think it's pretty clear the troll's going to kill him. Oh, only just though. Only just on the last dice there. We got the 3, which is enough to slaughter that rider of Rohan to join his king in the halls of Valhalla or Thorengil or whatever. So there we go. Next battle. Here we go. Troll against 3 charging riders of Rohan. So this is 2, including 2 Royal Guard. So here's where the riders come to get into their own. They've got a charge. So there we go. We've got 3 attacks plus the charge. They've got plus 1 strength on the charge as well, and also the axe will piercing strike. So that's a good sign. And they've got spears. They can't feint because they've got lower fight value. So here we go. Let's see what happens here. Troll is in red, obviously. See who wins. I see a 6.
that's bad news for the Rohan. Despite all those dice, all the troll needed was a 6 to invalidate those, because of course he's fight 6 and they are not. Now here, there's an interesting opportunity to do lots of different fun things here. I'm tempted to hurl this rider of Rohan, because he could go straight into this Royal Guard and knock him off his horse and be off his horse himself. It might be a bit risky because I really do want to chop some stuff up. But they are quite high defence, these Rohan Royal Guard chaps. They're a little bit higher defence than you would expect. So he's strength 6 and they're defence 6 as well. So it's 4s to wound those two. And of course he piercing strike, so he's losing a defence as well. So he's down to defence 4 at least. So what am I going to do? You know what? Let's hurl him. I'll show you. I did this with the express purpose of showing you how to do these sort of things. So the hurl happens. These guys get knocked back as always, and then the hurl. I choose the character to hurl, and what you do is you hurl them through the base, exactly through the centre. So if you look at the dizzying heights there, so it goes straight in that line. And then it'll go, hopefully, hit this guy if we're strong enough. We compare the strength of the two individuals that are in the combat. So we've got a troll who's strength 6 against a rider of Rohan who's only strength 3. So then we roll the dice and we add the 2. So that's not a 6, it's a D3. So it's 3 inches plus 3 inches, which is a full 6 inches, which is exactly what we wanted if we're talking doing damage here. So here we go. That goes straight, that's only 5. But the new rules, the old rules of hurl were a lot better for monsters anyway, and essentially they would mean I would just keep going straight through here. But in this case, I'll just stand above a bit. It would have gone sort of, straight through and maybe into those two riders there. But in this case, it stops at the first person you hit. So launches this rider of Rohan, bam, into there. He becomes unhorsed. So does he. So we're losing the horses no matter what. So I'm going to have to get some riders of Rohan on foot out in a second. But those guys are down. But more importantly, we've got a strength 6 hit from this guy, because he's been launched by a troll across the floor. So the strength 6 hit kills this guy, especially because he's lost a defence from the piercing strike that he did. So he's dead. So there's no point in getting the thingy. He's just on the dead pile. He's unhorsed, but also takes a strength 3 hit because of the guy that's been thrown into him. So strength 3 hit against defence 6. We need 6s for this. So no, it doesn't wound him. He is knocked off his horse, so he'll have to take a thrown rider test. On a 1, he takes another strength 3 hit. Oh, on a 1, he takes another strength 3 hit. Here we go. On a 6, no. So he is okay, but he's just on his bottom at the end of the turn. So I'll sort that out in a second. And that is the context of the board so far. We've lost 2 riders of Rohan, or a rider of Rohan and the Royal Guard, and Theoden and the trolls completely unhurt. And as you can see already, the potential here of the riders of Rohan are going to struggle against the might of monsters. Right, I'll come back after I've replaced that model. I'll do the priority first and do the moves while I do that. So here we go, priority. It's good this time. So we'll do good moves and replace the rider of Rohan, and we'll come back after that. Just to keep you in the loop, I've replaced this guy, and I've decided to call a heroic move with Birder, because they really don't want to be charged by lots of riders of Rohan who gain the strength bonus, and also I don't want to be peppered with arrows again either. So I'll come back after the heroic move and the riders of Rohan's response to said move. They have a cave troll, and another cave troll, and another guard. No, it's not good. It's not going very well for the riders of Rohan here. I've just come back to do the rolls for the courage checks because of these terrifying beasties that these riders of Rohan are trying to charge. But as you can see here, we've got a prone token to point out that this chap is on the floor after having his colleague thrown at him. This guy's over here attacking these 2 guys to make sure that they're not going to get the charge. But over here, he's going to try and charge into this guy. So let's just come around the circle where we were before. So he fails his charge. That's not very good for the riders of Rohan. So on a 4, so we're needing 7s. Here, so the Royal Guard also fails. That's boxing them all in slightly. That's not great for them. Another rider of Rohan here on the corner. Let's see if he gets in to try and charge Birder. We've got a 6. No good at all. This guy, he can squeeze through that gap, I'm sure. So let's give him a try.
That's a 6 as well. It's clear this terrifying beasties are really doing the work for these guys. So this final one, I think he'll probably be able to squeeze around. So this guy with the throwing spear is going for... Oh no, I only did him for that guy, didn't I? Okay, all right. Well, there we go. This is not going to go well for the Riders of Rohan this turn. So now we're going to do some. I'm going to try some different manoeuvres this time. So we're going to start with this fight over here with the cave troll that's facing us against the Rohan Royal Guard on foot / on the floor against the Rohan Rider there, Rider of Rohan, who's valiantly firing a bow into the face of this oncoming troll. So here we go. We've got 3 attacks from this troll and 2 attacks from the normal guys. Of course, one of these is a Royal Guard who won't even be able to strike if they win, which is not great for them. So here we go. Let's see the troll. Let's see the troll get a 6, and the troll does get a 6 to win the combat outright. No problems there. And now, what he's going to do, he's going to do something interesting. He's going to... Is he going to barge? He could barge, just for fun of it, so I can sneak around and get some more people in. But I'm not going to do it, because what I can do, if you barge, you can knock people off their horses. So I'm going to do that just to show you the mechanics of a barge first. So what happens in a barge is every enemy of the monster moves 3 inches away in a direction chosen by the monster. So what I'm going to do, this guy is going to move 3 inches this way. Although I suppose he's prone, so he might not even be allowed to do that. But I'm going to assume that he can move 3 inches, even though it might not be able to. I'll comment below if you think he's allowed to do that or not. But either way, he's been moved 3 inches-ish up this way. The other guy is this guy. Now, he is going to have to move 3 inches away in some direction, as chosen by by me, or fall off his horse if he can't get anywhere. And look, he can't move at all, so he is going to be knocked prone, which means he's going to be unseated from his horse. So I'll just find a Rider of Rohan that can replace him with. Sorry, a Warrior of Rohan I can replace him with. So he's going to be there, and he's going to be on his bum. Now, so that's the 3 inches. So he's got a prone token as well, just next to him, just so we know what's going on there. Okay, so we're back to here, and now that means that he can do a D6 charge now, and potentially get into combat again. So a 1's fine, but a 3 is okay. So here we go. What he's going to do is come round this way, and then we'll see what happens after that. I mean, we can't do any of the fancy tricks here, but at least now he's only facing 1, and we've already successfully beaten that one Rider of Rohan back. So it sounds like a silly one to do, but I'll show you what I've got planned in a second, because this combat is another one that's going to happen. So we've got 3 from the evil guy, 2 greens for the good poor Riders of Rohan, Royal Guard there. Let's see what happens. And the troll wins again, and I'm tempted just to... Well, what do I do here? So when I rend against the strength of one person, it's only one person, so I could kill 1, or I could try and kill 2 with the mighty power of the troll with his hammer, which I forgot to mention. The trolls are so awesome that they're burly, which gives them a special rule, which means they don't get the disadvantage for fighting 2-handed. But I haven't said I'll be fighting 2-handed, so I'm just fighting 1-handed at the moment. I'll do that in the future because it's a very good idea. Anyway, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to just let's have a bash at them. Let's have a bash. I'm not going to rend anyone. I'm going to try and smash these 2 Riders of Rohan. Defense 6 each, so 4. Look at that. That's enough. 2 6s. That means 2 Royal Guard down in the dumps, down in the death pit over here with their king. And not going well for the Riders of Rohan here. Right, now let's try some more fancy trickery. This troll against this one guy here, he's in combat with Berda. So another troll against another Rider of Rohan who's valiantly failed to get the charge off because his king was too reckless. Reckless hate. Here we go. The troll only just takes it again with the sticks. So let's try that one more time. And what we'll do, so we don't need to try anything else. What we're talking about. So the troll, this time he's going to do another hurl. So we saw the potentially devastating effects of hurls earlier. Not going to be quite as devastating here because, again, in the olden rules, this guy would be able to chuck him
here and he'd go through there, and maybe we could angle it slightly different so he goes there. But if I throw him into that guy, it also hits him, which we don't want. But if I throw it into this guy, then we'll potentially get some good damage. Because he's only against one person anyway, we've only got one kill, so I think it's probably the best way of trying to beat this Rider of Rohan is just launching him into the guy behind him and unseating another rider. So that's exactly what we're going to do. So first, he will be unseated, but then he gets a strength 6 hit against the rider himself. He's defense 5, so we're looking for 4s, 3s or 4s, I forget. This is where I forget my table again. Talk amongst yourselves for a second. So sadly, he does need 4s to wound. So 6s against 5s is 4s. I still need to perfect my knowledge of this wounds chart. We'll work on that for the future. But he does lose his horse. That's straight away. The horse is gone. And then there is a Rider of Rohan that is launched into this guy. So for every... in the previous one I didn't need to, but for every person he hits, he gets a Strength 3 hit. So Strength 3 hit against Defense 5. We're looking at... I've just had the wounds table open. I probably should have checked that again. Strength 3 against Defense 5 is 5. So here we go. So he doesn't get killed. So that's interesting. So we've got a Rider of Rohan that's potentially not going to die at all. But anyway, here we go. He's down there. And he will be prone as well. He'll be on his bum. But does he destroy this guy? Let's find out. Strength 3 against defense 6, isn't it? And it's a 6. It was a 6. Honest, I promise it will do over there. But it is a 6, and the Rohan Royal Guard goes down. That has worked very well. I was expecting just to knock the Rohan Royal Guard off and kill the Rider of Rohan, but the other way around works just as well for Mr. Troll over there, so that's fine. Now, the next one, here we go, is Burder, the big guy, against this one Rider of Rohan again, who's in a bit of a sticky situation here. So, oh gosh, it wasn't a very high rolling dice, but it's enough with that 3. So, let's see what he can do. Now, he is, I think I'm going to try another hurl. Can he get... If I do a hurl, I think I'm going to get into that guy who's already on the floor, so it's not really worth bothering with. So all I'm going to do is rend him. Oh, could I barge him? If I barge him, he'll be knocked off his horse because he's only going to move 3 inches that way. Yeah, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to barge this Rider of Rohan. He has to move 3 inches, and if he can't move 3 inches, he's knocked prone. So he can't move 3 inches without going through those guys. If he hits those guys, he's not prone. So that's exactly what happens. He's not prone. I'll replace him with another Rider of Rohan from over here. Did he have a spear? I can't see. No, probably not. Let's just use that guy anyway. So there we go. I think he's going to be in trouble anyway. So he moves over to that as far as he could go, and then is knocked prone. And then Burder gets to charge again. He gets to charge 3 inches, full 6 inches. So here we go. This is where it comes into its own, the barge. So he only managed to cling on to one guy in the first instance. But now, because of his brutal power, monster, bashy, brutal barge, he's able to smash into those 2 guys and try again. This time, he may be fighting 2 people, but this guy can only strike once anyway, so it's actually evened out the fight to an extent, but also made it less likely to damage him anyway, so it's fine, and he's knocked a horse off, so it's good. Here we go. No, poor old Burder fails here, although actually, screw it, I'm going to spend a point of might, because I want to keep the momentum going in my direction. So he's got 1 point of might left, but he wins that combat because of his higher fight value, and has a chance to smash these 2 people into the dust. So prioritising the horse rider first, so let's go with him. No, it doesn't kill him. Try again. Strength, there we go. We got a 6, so it's killed the rider. And let's go with the next one on the guy on the floor. And it kills him as well. Look at that. So we've got 2 deaths. And, oh, it's going so very well for the monsters here. We've spent some might, but we've also killed an awful lot of Riders of Rohan. Here we go. So let's have a look at the battle as it looks at the moment. Not looking great for the Riders of Rohan. They have lost a lot of troops. We're down below half, so it means they'll be broken this turn, and they'll be taking courage checks to move. And, of course, it's not far off that fatal figure of 4. There's only 6 Riders of Rohan, or 7 Riders of Rohan left, sorry, although a few of them are on the floor. So let's do priority, good or evil. Good in red, and red, good in green, sorry. Evil are in the winner, which means they're going to, what shall I do? Shall I let them try and run away? No, let's charge them. Okay, let's get stuck in, and I'll be back after the trolls have launched their final assault on the good folk of Rohan. Oh dear, look at those riders of Rohan there, surrounded, in trouble, on the floor, lying down, a lot of them. So there's a Royal Guard on the floor, there's a Rohan guy on the floor. This guy did manage to get up. He's only going to move 3 inches though, so he didn't bother trying to charge because I thought he'd probably end up stuck in the middle, trapping people. So he's not happy, but he's going to give it a bash and charge the trolls the next turn if he's lucky. So no shooting this turn because we've had them move too much. So it's all down to combats then. So let's gather some dice. Let's see what happens over here. I have a cheeky plan to do more action here. So let's try what the Royal Guard on the floor is going to do. He's going to shield. He's got a shield. He might as well. He can't strike if he wins, so he's going to just try and protect himself and try and win this combat and avoid the deadliness of the troll, who is going to use his two-handed weapon if he can. So it's a 5 from the Royal Guard, but it's a 5 from the troll with a higher fight value, so the troll takes it. And you know what, the troll, I thought, I might go two-handed and kill him, but you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to barge him again. It seems like an illogical choice again, but actually this troll isn't in combat with him. So actually I should have moved him. I've forgotten that. So here we go, moving 3 inches this way. As is allowed to do. I think he's still okay to do that. Well, I should check on that prone rule. And then he's going to roll d6. 2. Oh, okay, that's a fail. So that's where Barge can go wrong, of course, because I don't have enough charge there to get him, so he's only going to be an inch away from him. But that's fine. I've moved them all back into the central zone where I can still do some nasty stuff to them in the next couple of turns. And he's still on the floor, crawling around like a loony. All right, this guy, he's going to fight this troll. So this royal. It's just Rider of Rohan, isn't it? So Rider Rohan here with 1 dice. Oh, it's nasty work from the trolls. 6s. What am I going to do? Am I going to rend him? I'm going to throw him. No, I'm going to throw him actually, because that guy isn't engaged in combat, so it won't affect this guy, this troll, as it would if I'd thrown him at him. So he's going to launch him. So his strength minus the other guy's strength is 3. Plus d6, sorry, d3, isn't it? But so that's 4 inches, which is enough to send him straight into this guy. Bash. Okay, so he gets unhorsed, and I'll find a suitable replacement for him in a second. But let's see whether he gets killed before I do that. Strength 6 against the defense 5, so we get 4s. There we go. We've got him, smashed him. So he's dead anyway. So another Rider Rohan bites the dust. This one gets unhorsed as well, the one with the axe, but he gets a strength 3 hit first. Strength 3 hit kills him. Oh my god, this is going very badly for the Riders of Rohan. So the hurled rider, as you would imagine, a horse flailing into you, is going to do some serious damage. So there you go. Excellent work, Trolly McTrollface. You've done the work that you needed to do. Now, who's next? Let's try this troll against those 2 riders there. Let's do that. Yeah, we'll do 2, and then Birdo can finish off that final guy over there, because I think if we kill these 3, it'll be calling time on the match, won't it? So, troll against 2. So we've got 2 there, one of whom is on the floor. So we'll get rid of that. We've got an extra red. So here we go. 1 on the floor. He's not going to shield because we want to have the chance of winning just in case here. Oh, there we go. They do win this time, finally. So the trolley guy gets pushed back 1 inch. And the Rider of Rohan gets to strike. The other guy gets to stand up. So prone taken away. And Rider Rohan only strength 3, sadly. So he's looking for a 6 to destroy this troll, or at least wound him anyway. He does get the 6. What a star! Oh my gosh. This is the hero. Maybe it's Eowyn hiding in disguise. Who knows? Anyway, they've done the damage and taken a wound. The first wound off the trolls of the match. And that's very good. Very good work there, Riders of Rohan. I mean, every little helps, I suppose. So the final combat of the turn is Birdo, the Troll Chieftain, taking on the Rohan Royal Guard, and he is going to Piercing Strike, just for the fun of it too. Piercing Strike is a thing where basically you add 1 strength just to try and do some extra damage, but you do have a chance of lowering your own defence if you lose, but I think I'm going to be okay. I am okay. It was a risk worth taking. The rider, the Royal Guard loses, and he's got an extra strength. So he's strength 7 now against the defence of 6. Oh no, he's just going to rend him. Strength 7 against things. So it's 3s. He kills him. So there we go. He's another one for the dust. So here we go. That is the picture as is. And guess how many there are left? 25%. I believe it's reduced to 25% or below, and then the game starts ending. But tragedy strikes. Here is the troll. Here is the objective. Completely abandoned. What am I going to do here? This is a very poor idea. So I think at the end of the end of this turn, I think that's it. But well, let's assume that I'm going to win points wise. So here we go. That is the end of that game. But I think I'm kind of tempted just to show you the disaster that could happen here if we launch more people around and so on. But I think you've got the point. Trolls, certainly against Riders of Rohan, and certainly once Theoden has sacrificed himself to try and fail to do the good deed, it's clear that trolls and monsters can be very brutal if used effectively, and you need a few of these, don't you? You need a few 5s and 6s. All right, then I'll come back and have a chat. Well, there you have it. So a bit of a bloodbath, really, wasn't it? Against the Riders of Rohan, 3 trolls and only 3 trolls and a troll chieftain, 1 wound against them. It just shows the might of the trolls in this, certainly in this circumstance. Yes, of course, had I been playing it more tactically on the Rohan side, there would be certainly much more holding back, firing bows and chucking spears, and certainly probably less Theoden charging on his own. But I think the point of the game is to show a bit more about the mechanics of how the different brutal power attacks work. So you saw Barge, you saw Hurl, and you saw Rend in abundance during the game. So hopefully, if you're ever facing up against monsters, or you fancy taking monsters yourself, you know a bit more about how they work as well as just facing off against them as well. Give you a few tactical ideas for what to do with them, and also especially in the positioning of where those for the hurls, where you're going to have them, and also when to use the barge, when not to use the barge. It gives you ideas at the very least. I mean, I'm not pretending to be a tactical genius in any way, shape or form, but it should, I hope, fingers crossed, help you if you're just starting in the middle of a strategy battle game. That's the intention of these tutorial videos. And if you do know the game anyway, I hope you just enjoy having a bit of a laugh watching trolls against Riders of Rohan and stuff like that. So, there will be more videos coming very soon. If you enjoyed this one, please do like, comment and subscribe. Apologies if the movement of the camera is too much for you. I realise I've had a few comments in previous videos about sort of moving around and tripods and things like that, but I understand that it can be a bit dizzying, but I'm hoping that even if you're just painting or whatever, that having just a bit of a natter in the background about Lord of the Rings will help you paint at the very least, or at least maybe you enjoy them if you don't get too motion sick. So apologies if they're a bit too movementy for you, but I like to get stuck into the action and see what's going on the table. So that's what excites me about the game. So I've got more painting tutorials on the way as well, and we'll do some more battle reports when I get around to it as well. So thank you very much for watching, and I think I will see you very, very soon. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.